Hello and welcome back to Lorehammer. I'm your host, Mark. We got an exciting episode of filthy minor xenos ahead of us today. Joining me on this journey of hate, we got Bobby Jack. Welcome back, my man.
What is up, my fellow space racists, my fellow xenophobes? I am here, we are here, and we are queer. Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Okay. We also got Fuzz on the show. Hey, buddy, what's good?
What's up, nerds? How's everyone doing?
Oh, man, I'm excited to talk about, these xenos. Honestly, one of them in here is super cool. And, Bobby Jack, you make a pride joke, but the Thyrrus, man, I think they would be awesome in a pride march. They're changing colors. They're firing off cool lasers. They're doing all types of fun stuff.
Oh,
that would be awesome.
I think
that would be rad.
Yeah. But we'll get to what we're talking about in a second. We're talking about minor xenos, the Stryxis, the Thyrrus, and the Umbra. But before we do that, let's just do some housekeeping. Come join the Discord. I hang out there. I live there. I see some new people hopping in there. I even seen somebody come in and say his name's Trevor, just like a couple minutes ago. Yeah, before the show. So now I have to go boot him because that's
the prophecy foretold. Yeah, no, he can't. But the prophecy foretold.
Yeah, that
of his arrival.
It did, and then of the booting of the Trevors. There can only be one Trevor Busak in the Discord, and
it's really a genocide. Yeah. But we prefer a Treviside, if you want to call it anything.
We do. But yeah, come join the Discord. It's a lot of fun. We hang out. I don't know, fun stuff. There's voice chats. There's channels. You've been on Discord before. Come check it out.
Yeah. And if you like the Discord and you like the show and you want to help support the show running, you can join the Patreon for a delicious ad-free versions of the show. Totally worth it. $2.50. No ad. You can just listen straight through without any weird random things, popping up in the middle of the show. And if you can't check the live stream, but you do want to watch our beautiful faces, for $5 a month, you can get video versions of the show.
Hoodie says, wow, now I know why Fuzz is called Fuzz. Yeah.
And you could know that too if you were in our chat room.
Yeah.
Which, that's a great place to be.
You'll never guess why we call him Fuzz. You'll never guess.
Just wait till we do the shirtless episode and then you'll see.
Yikes.
A shirtless episode with like the nipple rubbing. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And also, do you or a loved one want to talk to us? Do you have problems with things that we say and or love things that we say? You could also call in at the end of the episode. That'd be, I'd say good, but it could not be. Yeah. And I don't want to upset you.
Yeah, it could be good, could be bad, could go south.
Yeah, or north.
Could go north. Not east and west, so we don't do that here.
Yeah, we're not
that kind of show. No. We're family friendly here at Lorehammer. We don't.
Yeah. Nipple rubbing, jizz hands. That's the family we want.
That's the family. All right, well, we got some more minor xenos. I'll give you guys a little rundown of what we're going through this episode. First up, we got the Stryxis. We have talked about them before. They made an appearance in the Eternal Horizon Crusade, I believe. They're like filthy dog embryo traders is kind of what I vaguely recall describing them as before. So that should be fun to talk about. How they look, how they feel, holding one at night, keeping you warm.
How they taste.
Oh, boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. You can do anything with the dog embryo. It's really great. Really fantastic stuff. So we're going to be going over we'll go over their appearance, their powers and abilities, their history, their homeworld, all these kind of things that we've been doing over these, their cultures, belief, technology, military, galactic relations, blah, blah, blah. Talk about maybe some minis. And then we'll do the same with the Thyrrus, which are, like a squid, like a land squid that changes colors, shoots lasers, really fun, really theatrical. And then the last one is the Umbra. And this one, I believe, is featured in the Astartes short video series, actually.
Oh, the weird mind controlling dudes that worship the orb?
Yeah, the orb, not the dudes. The orb itself is the Umbra.
Oh, the orb. Okay.
Yeah, so that'll be kind of...
Orb. Shout out to orbs.
Shout out to orbs everywhere. Sphering along. So yeah, we got a fun
Blessed
episode.
be the Orb Messiah.
Let's start with the Strix. Take it away. What are this xenos, and how do I learn about them just enough to know what to hate? Let me know.
So the Stryxis are a nomadic xenos species that drift through the void in decrepit caravans of salvaged starships. Their holds filled with things better left untouched. They present themselves as traders, eager to barter, but behind this facade lies a culture of ruthless opportunism and bottomless greed. They trade with all humans, xenos, and even the corrupted children of the warp, so long as there is something to be gained. Their wares are eclectic and often horrific: forbidden relics, arcane technologies, living prisoners, and otherworldly artifacts that whisper when held too long. To deal with the Stryxis is to step into a web of quiet malevolence where every smile hides a knife. Despite their grotesque appearance and reputation for treachery, the Stryxis possess knowledge and goods that tempt even the most cautious of rogue traders. They hoard secrets like others hoard treasure, and for the right price, they might share a sliver of what they know. Yet what they value is strange and alien. One moment, trading a priceless archaeotech for a bloody doll, the next rejecting power armor for a tattered page from a lost codex. In their hands, every transaction is a gamble, and even those who walk away with the upper hand often find themselves haunted by the consequences. Yeah,
Very
I like
cool.
I like that it's there, and it's something that I've seen in a few, especially like RPG systems, is these species that are traders, but you don't really understand why they're trading for what they trade. Like I said, they might trade away, power armor for a napkin, or it just it almost makes it more creepy and like more nefarious of like they're trading away.
What are you doing with that?
Yeah, why do you need this specific bloodied baseball bat?
I can't help but love it.
Yeah. What he said.
I love trading.
Jaw was. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, just trading, man. They're gonna start with that paperclip, work their way up to a house. I remember doing the role-playing game, The Eternal Horizon, with them, and it was pretty fun role-playing as one of these for a hot second, where it's just so irrational with the trading.
I feel like we need more of that in media, where it's just like some random dude giving shit out for no reason.
Yeah, I agree, Jax. 40K Skaven is kind of the vibe I was getting when I was reading up on him a little bit. Like, these weird, like I said, like dog fetus looking creatures that like hide in robes and just trade in the shadows and stuff. That was definitely a vibe that I got.
Yeah, and if you're watching the live stream, I'm just about to pull up some pictures of them. So you can see kind of, they almost even look like Skaven. Like they got this weird, almost furry, maybe not really Skaven-y, but whatever. They're furry. They're weird looking. Kind of crittery.
Too many eyes.
Also, I kind of looked up dog fetuses, and dog fetuses look kind of like human fetuses.
Oh,
I'm going to be honest.
That's fair. We're all mammals.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They're a little more dented.
Okay.
That's the only difference between the fetuses.
Honestly, the other thing that came to mind when I saw these pictures of the Skaven, or not the Skaven, but of the Stryxis, was like a mutated Ewok covered in rags.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of. I kind of. Yeah, I feel like that's how they either have the deepest voice I've ever heard in my entire life, or there's no in between.
Fuck yeah! And every time you see one, you're obligated to try to kick it as far as you can, just because of the way it sounds. Like it's just.
I genuinely.
All right. Well.
I want to see how fast it could eat a Slim Jim. Well, appearance-wise, dog fetus-esque, but on a more serious note, the Stryxis are a grotesque spectacle. Emaciated canine-like figures stretched into an uncanny imitation of a human shape. With 4 glistening glassy eyes that scan independently and faces locked in a permanent sneer, they resemble a flayed dog fetus brought to blasphemous life. Their haunched bodies are wrapped in patchwork robes and adorned with bone trinkets, trophies from ideals long past. What little flesh is visible seems waxy and bruised, as though preserved rather than living. Their biology is a riddle. No genders, no young, no known life cycle, only the unsettling sense that something vital is being carefully hidden. What little can be discerned of their physiology is intertwined with their horrific craft. The growing and shaping of flesh, the Stryxis do not build, they breed. Slaves, servants, weapons, and beasts are all meat, tailored and twisted into form by their vile biotechnology. A Stryxis ship teems with their creations. Mutated abominations, bred to suit specific tasks or horrors stitched into forms that scream silently in the dark. There is no kindness in their art, no reverence for life, only the cold calculus of trade and function, and the whispered suggestion that even the Stryxis themselves may be a product of such cruel design. Genuinely, I think that underneath their robes, there's no skin or flesh of any kind, and they're just all like organs out.
Oh,
organs all like that. Down.
Organs all the way down. Damn shoddy. Let me see that lower intestine. I cannot imagine them in any other way at this point. Like under those robes, it's all just flesh and ooze.
Yeah, and their creations sound even weirder. I do have a picture of their creation pulled up of like, okay. You can look at their leg and it has this like human leg shape, but yeah, it looks crafted and molded. It's not like, it doesn't look symmetrical. It looks uneven and lumpy. Like, yeah, it's so weird.
The only thing that like you can really grasp from it is the fact that it's just mostly muscle too. Like it just looks like one big walking muscle with a humanoid shape.
Yeah,
because that's all they need it for.
Any group that does like flesh crafting and flesh shaping is always just so weird. I mean, it's not like always so weird, but like it reminds me a lot of like some of the things that get talked about with like the Dark Eldar and their like homunculi and like breeding vats and their flesh shaping. And honestly, a little bit like the Votan, where everything like these are like purpose grown creatures. Like they're all grown for a specific reason, whether it's like workers on the ship, like I say, whether it's their weapons. So maybe they have like bio weapons similar to like Tyranids. It kind of like pulls in a lot of interesting things that other species do.
Yeah. Flesh craft.
I like what Lupercal said, that it does also kind of look like Flesh Groot, and I feel like the more that I think about it, it like it throws out its body and like could stretch its muscle and skin to like hit people at range.
Oh, you ever play with those like elastic Armstrong toys?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Armstrong, yeah. Like that.
I feel like it would do something like that, but it just like swings a right hand at you. And it's got to make the worst noises ever.
Oh yeah.
Like you can hear everything popping in at him.
The only noise that thing makes is a scream of pain and asking to kill it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Strike.
Maybe that's why they didn't keep their mouth.
Oh man, that's so funny. All right, let's learn about their powers and abilities. The Stryxis wield a disturbing fusion of fleshcraft and ancient technology and biosorcery. Their most feared creations are their ether weapons, strange devices that glow with pale energy and unleash effects no data slate can predict. Victims vanish into mist, hulls scream as they corrode from within, and whole Vox networks fall silent under their influence. These weapons are not forged but grown, cultivated like tumors in the secret chambers aboard their ships. Their operations remain incomprehensible to Imperial minds, and the Stryxis offer no explanations, only prices. Their greatest weapon, however, is not their arsenal, but their mind, cunning beyond reason. Stryxis barter in emotions, lies, and weaknesses. They can sense desperation and desire like blood and water, twisting words and truths until seasoned diplomats find themselves compromised. They understand the true cost of things, not in thrones or guilt, but in guilt, secret, and fear. They are their mastery of manipulation is second only to their perverse command of living flesh, making them not only dangerous foes, but even more dangerous allies. When reading and writing this down, I couldn't put together if I thought that they had psychic ability to manipulate and trade, or if they're just like the really good like poker player version. Hard to say.
I take it as just like you're saying, like they're the poker player version. They've got, a really good poker face because who can read that ugly mug? But also just like, if they're really good at reading like body language and intuition and picking up on like context clues, and they can be really good at manipulating your emotions by like kind of understanding what you want, whether it's some of their biotech or whatever they have in their ships.
Yeah.
I mean, even just the fact that they're canine, like maybe they literally like smell whatever like feelings you have, because it's a kind of pheromone too, right? So maybe they literally just smell how you feel and they go, "Oh, I could gaslight you."
Absolutely.
I love that. Yeah, for sure. Fuck.
Especially if they're just like randomly like just a las gun for a piece of paper. Yeah. Like if they're doing stuff like that, like maybe they'll randomly walk up to you and go, "Hey, bud, you're firstborn."
Oh, I absolutely could see that with these guys. And I love like the way it describes them as like
be a good deal.
They can be really dangerous like enemies as allies. I'm just imagining like being allied with one of the Stryxis, and you're like, "Oh man, I wish if only I could do like this thing," and then they like flesh shape you into being able to do it, but you're just horrifically in pain for the rest of your life. But now you can like, jump 20 feet high or whatever.
Oh, perfect.
Man, I wish I could plow these fields so slightly faster so that way my children wouldn't starve. All right. And then they merge you with your children.
Right. Now, yeah, like now your hands are like plows made out of bone.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Children bones, your children's bones.
Yes. But the children are still alive, though. We just took the bones and now they're piles of flesh.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of monkey paw gifts.
You ever give anyone a monkey paw gift before?
Yeah. One time I gave somebody... Hold on, I'm thinking of a lie. Hold on. Yeah, I mean, I've gaslit Jax before, if that counts.
Yeah, that counts. Yeah.
Yeah. The monkey paw gift of playing Helldivers with me, and I stomp on him.
Yeah. I think I like that kind of, they smell the emotions, like that canine, that dog more so. Hoodie said latent psychers. Yeah, I think I like the smelling.
They got that dog in them.
Yeah.
They got that dog in them.
Yeah,
plus then we can smell their butts and stuff, and it's fine.
Maybe they smell their weird leaky intestine butts.
Yeah, man. No, it's interesting with these guys. Like normally, like looking at aliens and stuff, it's so obviously alien and foreign and typically incomprehensible. Like, how does that all operate and work? But it's interesting to see the Stryxis like kind of able to narrow down not only humans but kind of everything, and just nothing's for them. They can kind of just crack you.
Yeah, I like how they're not as like, obviously I like how 40K does all their far off species who are like you can predict anything about them just out of anything, but like at least the Stryxis, you have like this rare foundation of what you expect from them.
Yeah, like they're going to trade with you, but you have no idea what that trade is going to be. You have no idea what they're going to do. Yeah.
But you know how they do. That's the only thing. Oh.
All right.
Nice.
I love it.
Yeah. So the history of the Stryxis, their history is not recorded. It is whispered. No chronicles tell of their rise, and no ruins speak of their origins. They exist without past, like scavengers born in the void, feeding on the leavings of greater empires. What is known is fragmented and chilling, of caravans appearing where none had been, of ancient ships that should not fly, held together by pulsing sinew and rusted iron, of trades going wrong, where entire stations vanish into darkness and only a few maddened survivors remain to speak of the Stryxis and their price. Over the millennia, they have touched many hands, imperial, xenos, and even demonic. Yet they remain untouched themselves, slipping away before retribution can find them. They build no worlds, raise no banners, and claim no empire. Instead, they worm their way through the fabric of the galaxy like rot, appearing where the veil is thin and the desperate gather. Their name is rarely spoken, but what it is with fear and loathing, for the Stryxis never leave a place unchanged, only emptied, corrupted, or cursed.
Yeah, and this is where we get to hate the xenos, you know. They come and they take advantage of poor imperial planets that are like desperate for food because they just survived an 8,000-year war, and they're like, please, just 1 year of no war. And the Stryxis come in and make some shitty deal and take all their resources. And yeah, this is why we have to kill all the xenos.
Yeah, down with the xenos, up with the Imperium. Happy Pride Month and being anti-xenophobic. Or pro-xenophobic, rather.
Yeah. I love the description.
You take pride in xenophobia.
The like emptied space stations. Like they show up and you like try to make a deal with them. Maybe like you try to take advantage of them and they absolutely turn the tables on you and just steal all of your people to turn them into resources for their flesh shaping.
Yeah, and then you get like one quarter pounder with cheese.
Oh,
you're like, all right, food
I haven't
for
had
people.
McDonald's in like fucking years, man. That sounds delicious. What I would trade right now for a Big Mac.
But that Big Mac is now made out of your best friend.
Even better.
Even better.
That's what I like to do to my
cannibalism.
Friends. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and never leaving a world.
Right, so basically, nothing is going on. Yeah. And then they don't even write down their records. They don't even write down that they did this to you. Like, we took advantage of them. They're not like trolling you for the lulls of it, you know, to humor their people. They're just doing and leaving and whatever. We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just walk up, hand, upper, inner thigh, roofie in your drink, and then they leave.
And they leave.
And
you were excited. You wanted something to happen, but it didn't. Anyway.
Yeah, and they smelled it on you. You were too easy.
Tell me about their homeworld and galactic geography.
Oh, wait, no, hold on. I had a good segue for this. Hold on. And you know, you want to trade with them, and they come into your home world and galactic geography.
Yeah, good one.
The Stryxis. Yeah, that was. I said the title. That's a segue.
Say the words.
The Stryxis have no home. Their origin is a black question, unanswered, but even the oldest lore masters of the Ordo Xenos, by even the oldest lore masters of the Ordo Xenos. Instead, they drift in massive caravans, derelict ships bound together by cables of sinew and metal, forming twisted conglomerations that crawl across the stars. These trade fleets are worlds unto themselves, laboratories, marketplaces, breeding vats, and vaults of forgotten things. Even each one is a grotesque monument to entropy and excess, crawling with both Stryxis and their bioformed creatures. Their vessels seem to violate the machine god's laws of engineering, yet they function, bearing no allegiance but to trade and survive. Most commonly, Stryxis are encountered in the lawless reaches of the Chronos expanse, where imperial law grows thin and the void grows cold. There, amid haunted warped routes and trade-abandoned watch stations, their caravans drift in and out of reality like phantoms. They may linger for months, establishing grim trade posts, festooned with meat lanterns and whispering relics, only to vanish without a trace. To try to chart their movements is futile. They are not bound by maps or star lanes, but by currents only they can feel. Currents of profit, pain, and secrets. I want to see what they secrete.
It's goo.
Yeah, like what color is the goo?
It's gotta be.
Is it thick?
Taste.
Yeah.
Can I buy a jar of it for 1 pencil?
Does it spread nicely on toast?
Maybe rye bread.
I bet it goes great
Maybe
in a milkshake.
Oh yeah, a little xenos protein.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Call it the goo shake.
Stryxis creatine.
Ooh.
Well, I love the description of the ships with like the cables of sinew and metal that like their flesh crafting is also like what holds their ships together and maybe even like what drives them.
Yeah, like I feel, and we have a picture right here. It looks like it just looks like veins. It doesn't even look like chains. It looks like veins.
Yeah. What is interesting about that picture is there's like a drow ship in there, the bottom left. There's like an imperial ship, the top two, and the top left or whatever. Like these, are they salvaging other people's ships, kind of, and doing this to them?
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, like if they find like a space hulk or some sort of derelict vessel, if it's even like a little bit okay, they'll attach it to their fleet, and now they got themselves another ship.
So if it's not bolted down, they take it,
right?
And then even if it is bolted down, they still just fly away with it. The whole thing. Then
it's like when you're driving. It's like when you're driving on the side of the road and you see one of those like shitty Ford Fiestas, and they're like selling them for $500 cash. You just yoink it, and you play bumper cars with a real car.
Oh yeah, that's fun, dude.
That's all it has to be. Like imagine stopping, and all the ships just forward.
They have meat lanterns, which is always fun.
I saw that.
I also have meat lanterns.
Yeah, Xenos fleshlights, eh?
Don't call it that. That's the wrong term. That's not right.
I mean, he is technically correct, which is the best kind of correct.
Yeah.
That's where the goop comes out.
Yeah.
The Xenos fleshlights.
Listen,
they create their own tallow and they burn on their own.
Yeah. Just because you're not a fan of their culture and their beliefs doesn't mean that they don't have it. And it is.
I'm just here to learn about their cultures and their beliefs so I can be more accurately xenophobic towards them. That is who I am. That's why I'm here. I'm a true patriot to the Emperor.
I know.
Okay.
I know. It's just a real shame we couldn't get to you sooner.
I have an Emperor's fleshlight. Okay. Got that custodacy.
Yikes. All right, well, to speak of the Stryxis culture is to enter a world where cruelty is currency.
Oh, you were segueing.
Is sacred, but the deal. Oh, yeah. But then we were talking about the custodipussy or whatever you said.
I said custodacy. Thank you very much.
Yes,
that's where the female custodes went. Link in bio.
Yeah. Fuck.
Don't click that link. It's a zip bomb.
Yeah. Yikes. Their society is driven by an obsessive mercantile philosophy. Every interaction, every life form, even their own flesh is a commodity to be desecrated, repurposed, and sold. They hold no morality as the Imperium would define it. Instead, they venerate trade itself, a perverse theology of exchange. What they believe in is not gods, but the sanctity of transaction, a ritual of bargaining, the spiritual weight of profit extract. Even agony, madness, and the death of worlds can be justified if it balances the ledger. Their caravans echo with rites that resemble commerce more than religion. A newborn servant beast is not named but priced. Contracts are etched into bones, sinew, sewn into the skin of slaves, or encrypted in living tissue. They keep trophies not as reminders of conquest, but as symbols of successful deals, tokens of deception well executed. Stryxis rarely speak of the future or the past. For them, the only moment that matters is the point of negotiation. And in that moment, they are divine, priests of the twisted faith that exalts manipulation and feeds upon the suffering of others. Yeah. Nice.
Do they have prostitutes?
Almost certainly.
Yeah. No. Or maybe not, because they have the meat lanterns. Maybe you don't need prostitutes when you make the world's galaxy's best meat lantern.
I want to fuck one. I want to fuck one.
I feel like this is definitely a culture where literally everything has a price.
Yeah. I kept on kind of thinking about the Ferengi from
I was just
Star Trek.
Too.
Yeah, and kind of the differences in how they do it. Like, I think the Ferengi definitely have that spiritual, religious kind of bit to it as well. Do they?
I would say so, because like they're like sort of like political and like spiritual leader, if you could call it that, is like their grand negus. So like the commerce to them is a religion, but they would go, I'd say they're a little bit different, where like it's a lawful religion to be subverted for the Ferengi, because they have like their rules of acquisition and they have their rules of commerce, but it's to be a great Ferengi is to figure out loopholes within that commerce, whereas the Stryxis are just like, it is like the commerce chaos cult.
Yeah, because the Ferengi are still trying to make deals that like that benefit them, benefit their society. Not so much on the Stryxis, like
with the Ferengi,
they're just bidding off to the trading of it all.
Like with the Ferengi, you can predict what they're going to find valuable, whereas the Stryxis is just fuck all.
Yeah.
Maybe the Stryxis are worshippers of Malal, on account of the fact that they literally do whatever they want without any actual reason.
Well, there is no reason. Just because we don't understand the reason doesn't mean there isn't a reason there.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, like, if the reason is to empty out a space station of people, right? Like let's say that's the hypothetical. What reason do they have for that in the first place? It's not like they're claiming that space. It's like maybe they use it for more flesh puppets to then sell. I feel like they probably don't have genuine goals aside from sale, maybe. But even then, what do they gain from it? Survive? Like, they clearly could survive without selling anything at this point. They could just steal and they could kill everybody they want. But for whatever reason, they decide to do that.
Yeah.
Like, and they clearly aren't held together by morals. They're slavers.
Yeah.
For me, one thing I like about them is that like unknowability of it. Like, just because we don't understand or have a motive to associate with them doesn't mean that they don't have one. Like, they could be kind of like how like with the Eldar, they might like move a rock for this seemingly innocuous action, but because we have like the lore, we know that they move this rock, so somebody in 20 years is going to trip on that rock and cause a certain thing to happen. Whereas maybe the Stryxis have like these sort of like esoteric goals that we don't comprehend, just because we're just so far removed from them as a species that like our minds and our morals and our idea of what can be doesn't apply to them. And like, just like in a Cthulhu sense and like a Lovecraftian horror sense, like they might have goals, they might have their own geometry, but our brains just can't comprehend it and would go mad if we tried to.
Yeah.
Maybe.
They might even have their own,
that's why this comfort.
They might even have their own like chaos god of trade. Maybe not a chaos god, but like some type of warp entity of trade. As I've been going through like a lot of these xenos, they have like warp entities. Like the Kroot, they had their own warp entities. Everyone kind of has something.
Yeah, they have
so maybe
Can they go into the warp? Are they warp travelers at all or no?
The Stryxis?
Because I heard that they go on. Yeah, I heard they do currents and they pop up and leave randomly. Like, are they going into the warp?
Yeah, I believe they have warp capable craft and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so they go in there. They get some warp pussy to stock up on their fleshlights.
Yeah, it does say they also trade with chaos, so maybe they do travel like to the worlds in the Eye of Terror and do some trading there.
Yeah. And like,
maybe.
or my kind of thought was if they do have like a god, then that's the point. Like, if they're actually, it's one thing to say they enjoy trading and that's kind of like what they get up to, but then if you're actually tying it to a god, then maybe there's the afterlife if they've traded X amount of objects in their lifetime, or who knows, whatever. But adds that other element of it.
Yeah, I mean, do they have any? I might be asking this too soon, but do they have any kind of like hierarchy of like political standings at all, or like?
No, like it's all very just chaotic.
Yeah.
Now there honestly isn't that much information on them. There's a decent amount because this comes from the Fantasy Flight Games stuff, but it's not infinite.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is
Fair
an
enough.
RPG based species.
Yeah.
Nice. I was
Yeah, like
So they're trading.
that makes sense because I was thinking just the way that it talks about they can like pop up wherever is perfect for an RPG antagonist or just a DM tool to use plot hooks and whatever. Yeah, that's great.
Or even just a shop that you could generally have around.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So okay, you come across the Stryxis shop, and that would be a really interesting adventure for some characters to go into.
Yeah, that would be rad. Maybe some Tau characters, perhaps even.
It does. One of the images does show them with a Tau rifle, so yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of rifles,
it's good to know they support the greater good.
Oh yeah, all the best people do.
Yeah.
But so speaking of rifles and their technology, the technology of the Stryxis is a grotesque hybrid of stolen relics, biomechanical horrors, and incomprehensible craftsmanship. Their tools are not manufactured; they are grown. Their ships bleed when wounded. That's awesome. Their weapons pulse with organ-like rhythms. Flesh and machine are fused until neither is recognizable, producing results that defy the Adeptus Mechanicus' understanding. Their biotech is an affront to all that is natural or sacred, molded by hands that see the body as clay and suffering as a tool of innovation. More horrifying still is their ability to refurbish and repurpose the technologies of other races. A Stryxis artifact might hum with Necron energy, be guided by Eldar wraith circuits, and be bound in stitched orc hide, functioning in ways no rational science can explain. They do not innovate, as the Mechanicum defines it, but instead thrive on scavenging, corrupting, and perverting what others built. To hold a Stryxis-made device is to invite whispers, flickering hallucinations, or worse. Such items are best left buried, though the desperate or the damned often see only their promise and pay in cost and blood.
So they're just taking all these different weapons and their own touches. So you buy that fancy pulse carbine off the Stryxis, and you go to use it the first time. You go to pull the trigger, and the trigger's literally like a little bio finger that you pull. And that was the upgrade that they did to it. And now you got this little bio.
Literally a trigger finger. I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time you pull the finger trigger, it farts.
Ah, no. It moans a little.
It farts. You shoot tooth out. That's a projectile.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
And sometimes if you use it too much, it poops out.
Yeah. That's the monkey paw for you. Here you thought you got a badass pulse carbine, but really all you got was a shit rifle.
It makes poops. It makes shit.
Right. It makes shit.
And it shits on the floor.
I mean, yeah, you're getting this technology from them, assuming and you just never are gonna fully know what it is capable of, because it's made of technology from like 6 different species, and who the fuck knows?
I can just picture like the bio flesh parts, like kind of creating the circuitry into the machines and stuff, and like growing into it, and like how that would work so they can manipulate all these, like you said, these 6 different weapons in one. It just kind of grows and combines it all,
like vein wires.
Yeah, like nerves growing into the circuit pathways and stuff would be very, very cool.
Yeah.
Or even like brain matter on like the sides of guns and stuff, like showing they might think.
And their flesh ships, like their ships bleed when you hit them. Like that's just wild.
I'm so curious what they would do with Tyrannid shit. If they I genuinely want to see interactions between them and Tyrannids. Like maybe Tyrannids are the one thing they don't fuck with at all, and they avoid wholeheartedly.
I think they would avoid Tyranids because they can't trade with them. Like orcs, orcs will trade under certain circumstances. Tyranids are just going to try to devour them.
But on that own front, they love bio anything. At this, like they take technology and they give it a heart for no reason other than look, it's got a heart.
I can see them feel like we're able to get pieces of a Tyrannid, like pieces of a hive fleet or something, like they come and clean up some, like, say, like, in Space Marine 2, there's Tyranid bits everywhere. And then the Stryxis and do a little cleanup. And now they have these Tyranid bioforms to mess with. I think they would do that, but I don't think that they would seek out like a hive fleet to try to like attack it.
No, I doubt that too.
Yeah.
I feel like if anything, they might even avoid them, because if a Tyranid got their hands on anything that they made, they would just eat it instantaneously.
Yeah.
Like their guns would be eaten. Nothing. They would lose everything if they interacted with the Tyranid.
Yeah.
On that note of interacting with Tyranids, let's talk about their military. The Stryxis do not wage war in the traditional sense. They do not form legions or raise banners. Instead, they unleash cultivated terror. Their soldiers, heavy quotes on that, are vat-grown abominaminons, eyeless brutes, chittering weapon beasts, and sentient flesh stitched into exo-rigs of bone and bronze. Each creation is bred for a single task: assassination, defense, pursuit, and then discarded or repurposed when its use has passed. In battle, Stryxis tactics are cruel and precise: ambushes, biological sabotage, and psychological warfare, all designed to unnerve and demoralize rather than conquer. Even their caravans are armed in defiance of natural law, cannons that pulse like hearts, missiles that scream with the voices of the dead, etheric weapons capable of warping minds and melting flesh. Their military force is never straightforward. It is a nightmare unfurled with surgical intent. To provoke the Stryxis is to awaken a predator that does not roar, but slithers through the cracks, poisoning systems, mutating crews, and leaving only warped echoes of what once was. They do not fight to win. They fight to profit, to teach fear, and to ensure the next trade comes at a higher price. What is the AE combination? Like it's got it's like a weird. What is that?
Like Aether.
Maybe. Okay. I just wanted to know what that one letter was. Yeah. Honestly, I love the fact that they just kind of like, imagine sending a wave of guardsmen at these guys. They capture all of them, and then they just repurpose all these guardsmen as like weird bioforms to then go and fight the other guardsmen.
Yeah.
And I like that the Stryxis themselves don't do any of the fighting, it sounds like. They're just like the generals back that are sending their vat-grown soldiers to do their bidding. Like, you wouldn't need the Stryxis on the front lines necessarily.
Man, you could come up with all types of weird, like, monsters that they make for war. I think one of the most horrifying I could come up with now would be, like, the body snatcher one, where, they basically just drag bodies back to make more flesh for. So they, in the middle of the night, they run through the trenches and grab all the dead and whatever, but they're just like these body draggers.
And also, like, we talked about earlier, that their technology just works in like unintelligible ways. Like it mentioned, it can silence your entire Vox network, and then now you can't communicate anymore. And they'll slip in and steal people, like you're saying. It almost sounds like there's, I mean, again, like, this was built as like, an RPG kind of species, and it's 40K. So like, there's a little bit of like everything can do everything, but like, they're just horrifying in what they can do with their technology.
Yeah. Or maybe like even having dudes that walk around and just eat corpses, like flesh terrors, but not flesh terrors, because I just realized that that's an actual unit. But like, just something that lunges at people, like the hunter from Left 4 Dead. Like, it just lunges at people, starts ripping them apart, and then just lunges away. Like, something like that would just be genuinely horrifying.
Yeah, man. And like,
even if you kill it, like, your guy's dead anyways, or dying, and then you have to deal with it.
And like they specialize in like psychological assault with these kind of, all these flesh-shaped monstrosities. So they're not just attacking you physically, but they're going after your psyche as well and demoralizing you, and just making you easier to kill that way too.
Dylan asks, do they understand the tech, or is it more like where it just works?
I feel like I think they understand it.
Yeah.
I just think that the fact that it's just weird and biological is just something we can't comprehend.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you were walking down the street and you press the sidewalk button and it feels fleshy and the machine moans instead of saying wait, like you'd go, oh, okay, well, that's happening now. And you wouldn't even begin to question it.
Yeah, I think like to like the Mechanicum, to anybody looking at this technology, it shouldn't work, but it does. And not even necessarily in like the orc way, I feel like, because it does, it has all of these components and stuff to it, but it is like Jack said, it's, they understand how it works because it's their technology.
Yeah.
Well,
and the fleshlights are the main things they understand too, by the way.
Greatest technology in the galaxy, this side of the Cicatrix, I hear.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what other wonders do they have for the galactic relation for the galaxy? The Stryxis maintain no allies, only customers, and every customer is also prey. They drift through the lawless zones of the galaxy. Their arrival heralded not by banners, but by hushed warnings and bolted doors. If you don't bolt your doors down, they take them. Just everything is so. There's your warning. Their dealing spans species and factions. Rogue traders, Chaos warbands, Eldar corsairs, and even orc war bosses have all bartered with the Stryxis at one time or another. The Imperium considers them abominable xenos and exterminates them on sight, but many still seek them out in the shadows, willing to trade the souls of 10,000 for a weapon that cannot be traced. Their presence spreads like a rot across the stars, never dormant, always invasive. To encounter them is to risk corruption, not just of the flesh or machine, but of will. They traffic in secrets and forbidden things, and those who bargain with them often return changed, if they return at all. To the Stryxis, the galaxy is a vast ledger, waiting to be balanced, one deceitful trade at a time, and no matter what they trade with, the Stryxis always come out richer, while those that they leave behind carry the weight of their bargain, or they are consumed by it.
They have to, you show up to bargain and they're like, all right, but let me make your tongue alive.
Please,
or
we have to make your tongue a living creature.
We got to make your tongue alive. Or like some dude shows up and he's like, yeah, I just want the ability to have, I want to be able to taste any delicious food and it tastes amazing. And they're just like, all right, but we're also putting taste buds on your asshole.
So you get to taste it when it comes out too.
That shit.
Yeah, fuck. I don't like that.
There's nothing good about trading with these guys, and I love that. I'm so sick and tired of traders being useful. I want to trade with somebody, and it's just the worst deal I've ever made in my life.
Yeah.
It's
kind of
I'd like to get a new converter, and it also actually breathes.
Yeah, if you trade with these guys, at best you're coming out even, but you're never coming out on top of that deal.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the Stryxis for you. Filthy dog embryo traders. I like them. I want to kill every one of them. I want to trade with them every now and again. Many feelings involving them.
Right. I want to.
I really hope. Yeah. I really hope at some point or another we have a section of this podcast of what do they taste like.
How do you cook a Stryxis? Wow.
How do you cook a Stryxis?
I would absolutely do that. One of my favorite animes is Delicious in Dungeon. If anybody wants to watch that,
yes, Dungeon Meshi.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be. I think it's either gonna taste like how wet dog smells.
Yeah.
Or taste how freshly dumped garbage smells, out of a dumpster, but out back of a Denny's.
Ooh.
Very specific.
Yeah, no,
They make their own gravy, so that's a plus.
Fuck yeah. But the gravy sucks, so.
Also, just a quick message for Jax Carnage in the chat. Just because I watched anime doesn't mean I support mind control or being a slave or being cringe or being Japanese.
Yeah, and definitely
No
not
offense or
anime.
sets.
Yeah.
So you're just the worst,
Yeah, yeah.
Bob, is what you're telling me.
So what?
So you're just the worst, is what you're telling me.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I support the greater bad.
The Imperium.
Yeah, I like the greater bad. All this greater good. Now he's using a demon weapon, guys. That's a pretty bad guy thing to do. I checked. I don't know. Okay.
On tabletop, how would
All
you
right.
guys represent these bad boys? I feel like the scale is kill team.
I would agree. Yeah, kill team. At the most, they would field like maybe a 500-point army. You could probably do. You could probably also do something. I don't know anything about Battlefleet Gothic, but I could maybe see them usable in that.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. A lot of these would be usable in Battlefleet Gothic. Like, if you're spacefaring, you usually got some type of cool ship. But yeah.
I disagree on the size. I think that they would either be like. I think they would field like 5,000 point armies. Just based off the fact that their armies are not them. They're their own flesh creations. And I feel like there's no real way or no real reason they would like attack something small. Like I feel like they would go after large population centers like randomly. So I feel like kill team would be accurate, but you could also have an even accurater like 5,000 point where they just have a bunch of flesh mob abominations running at you.
So it's almost like a tiered out orc army. It's just just an absolute massive wave of creatures.
Yeah.
One thing I thought I read, I don't think it went over notes, was I think it was these guys, but they absolutely hate the Eldar.
Oh, what happened? Do we know?
Me too.
I know that's the thing, is nobody knows. Like, because when you sent me the notes, sometimes I'll try to go and if I have time to like read through some other stuff, and it's like they will, they'll trade with anybody, but if it's the Eldar, they will either avoid them or they will go out and seek them out and fight a fight with them, and nobody knows why.
They turned him down in high school and they laughed at them. Oh, there goes Mark.
Oh, did his new batteries fail? I'd be so upset if his new batteries.
Well, it's still daytime though.
It's
still daytime.
It's still daytime for him.
Well, with Mark gone, we will be talking about current geopolitical atmosphere.
Hey, he's back.
Oh, okay, good. Mark's here.
Yeah. Don't worry, I wouldn't leave you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
if you left for any longer, France was going to take a hit.
Not again.
But I was like wondering if like with like the reason they hate the Eldar, because I think it had mentioned that like maybe they themselves were created, so like maybe they were created by the Eldar, or they're like some corrupted version of like a dark Eldar that actually got like warp mutated or something. I don't know.
They got dogged. They went into the warp. They were Exodites that went into the warp on accident with their dogs and became molded with their dogs, like that one movie where the guy he's in a teleporter and a fly comes in and then he gets yeah.
Yeah, no, that's how they're created for sure.
That
and then
for them is like an RPG thing, like these big secrets that nobody knows and that are great for using for your players.
Yeah. It's even better not knowing them either. Then you just get to sit there and come up with dumb ideas.
That's the only idea I can come up with usually. So, yay!
Something we all have.
Dumb ideas.
All right. Well, that was the Stryxis. They're pretty cool. Yeah, definitely feature them in RPGs. I personally have done that. They're just great for that. Yeah, I wouldn't. Maybe that's where we'd want to see him the most. We said kill team, then we talked about Battlefleet, then we talked about 5,000 points. But maybe the spot for him is just in role playing games. That's what
I agree.
And in our hearts, obviously.
Well, I don't want them in there because they're gonna give me cholesterol.
The dog embryos are bad for you.
I think personally, I think I could at least eat 2 whole dog embryos before like puking.
I believe that. Well, cooked or uncooked?
Like,
You ever eat?
I think.
balut?
Well, I feel like you're supposed to eat. Aren't you supposed to eat like fetuses raw?
Would that be like when you have like raw oysters?
Yeah, like I remember in the South Park episode they were popping fetuses and like sucking them like those
We all know
those
South Park is
plastic
known for its accuracy.
bottles. Yeah,
100% accurate.
yeah.
Especially the way they portray Canadians.
Well, that one's really accurate. And that one time they had that one the giant, and he was just like slightly above average height. I like that one.
All right,
Yeah.
should we move on to the
like
Thyrrus?
Yeah, the
All right,
Thyrrus.
so a quick overview of the Thyrrus. The magnificent Thyrrus, conduits of confusion, masters of misdirection, and unchallenged emperors of exclamation. To the lesser, drabber minds of the galaxy, their presence is chaos incarnate, but to the enlightened, they are a performance made flesh. Where others march and fire and conquer, the Thyrrus dazzle, distort, and disarm with a grandiosity that defies the crude logic of warfare. No mere species, they are events, living declarations of spectacle and sound, turning every encounter into an opera of light, noise, and bedazzling illusion. In a galaxy locked in eternal grimdark, the Thyrrus arrive not as conquerors, but as choreographers. They do not seek dominion through brute force. How pedestrian. Instead, they weave the strings of perception and deception like master puppeteers, making other civilizations dance to unseen tunes. Empires underestimate them, dismiss them, and are subsequently devoured not by blades but by bewilderment. To fight the Thyrrus is to attempt to outwit the wind, or to drown in a hurricane of theater. They just sound fun.
They gaslight even harder than the last guys.
Yeah,
Did you
man,
organize this by level of lying to people?
Yeah, that will be the running theme of these 3. Because the Umbra, they also manipulate your mind too. So, yeah,
We've got the gaslighters, the manipulators, and the girl bosses. That's
nice.
the holy trinity right there for this episode.
Nice. Yeah. I had a lot of fun writing these guys, just being overly dramatic with the words and stuff. Because honestly, all they want to do is just perform for you. They want to have the best show ever.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you accept them as your overlords because they're just so dang cool.
Yeah, man.
I have a question that seems unrelated, but it's definitely related. Does thyroid mean anything other than like what it is in your body? Like, does it come from somewhere?
That's a good question. I will look that up.
I don't know.
Now I'm because I know if you have a thyroid issue, sometimes you talk really fast and you're lean and you're sweaty and you just like talk and yap, and I like maybe that means something, and then they pick the name Thyrrus because that apparently also means something. I don't know. I could be wrong.
So thyroid is named after the Greek word for shield-shaped or oblong shield. So it just probably has to do with the shape of the gland in your body.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to know that.
Fuck.
Ah, God.
I pulled up some pictures of the Thyrrus, and they are fun. They're just like this pile of jelly.
Yeah. They really
Tentacle.
are appearance and biology.
Right. I love that deviant art one that has like flags on his back and just like, yay!
Yeah! And he's got 2 flamethrowers. Yeah, he's pretty badass.
Like a weird version of Zoidberg is what I imagine they sound like.
Oh my God, I hear it now.
Oh, so good.
I was thinking they'd be like gurgly, but okay. A lot of Illuminati content for their
The
maybe
pyramids.
maybe the real Thyrrus were the thyroids we met along the way.
It's possible.
But appearance and biology is what they appear in biology as. To gaze upon the Thyrrus is to gaze upon a contradiction draped in ribbons and madness. Every shifting, pulsing, or every ever shifting, pulsing with unnatural hues and bioluminescent patterns. Their gelatinous forms swell and contort in rhythm with their moods, or perhaps in mockery of yours. Limbs sprout and retract at whim, tendrils undulate in impossible symmetries, and sensory orifices gleam with insurrectable purpose. Are these features tools, expressions, weapons? Yes, no, maybe? Their biology scoffs at simplicity, operating on biochemical principles that would send an adeptus mechanicus savant into an infinite logic loop. They are creatures of resonance and projection, their very bodies conduits for sonic warfare and visual illusion. Their flesh is not a prison, but a canvas, painted anew with every whim, every moment in form, as in philosophy. The Thyrrus demand interpretation, and by the time one has finished interpreting, one is already dead or converted.
Fucking cool.
We keep talking about like random xenos, and I keep wanting to know more, and the more I know, the more I'm like, oh, kill him. And
kill them all.
Yeah, kill them. Just get rid of them. We're going to build a 50-foot space wall.
Keep all the xenos out.
Keep all the xenos out. We're gonna put psychers and also the blanks all along the wall, every inch.
No one will get in or out.
No one will get in or out.
50 feet.
We're gonna make
these guys would be the wildest guys in all of 40K to fight. Like they're doing all the visual appearance, shape shifting of changing colors, and somebody's shooting off like fireworks. Somebody has like a little sprinkle candle thing. Like they're shooting sonic weapons, so who knows what those are gonna sound like?
Do they talk to people? Like do they walk up and say things to people, or is that? I don't know yet either.
Maybe
okay. I was really hoping they did.
Yeah, I feel like fighting these guys would be like doing battle in like a festival.
Yeah.
At Burning Man in the 70s, high on LSD.
Right. And like I feel very much like those like jellyfish or like squid, octopus vibes where they have that shifting color. They have like those chromatophores in their body and can change their shape a little bit at will too, like a lot of octopuses can, to blend in with their surroundings, and adding to that spectacle and dance and just that hypnotism that they get on you.
There's no way that anything they do isn't also just like, I was gonna say words. Hold on, I just forgot everything I was gonna say.
Reach for it. Reach deep.
There's no way every single hit that they take at you isn't just some sort of sucker punch, is what I was going to say. Like, there's no way they like have like a fist coming here and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, a fist from their forehead pops out and just like whams you. like there's no way every single hit isn't some sort of sucker punch.
Yeah, there's just so distracted.
Just some
misdirection. You don't see the next blow coming.
Yeah.
What are they?
I love them with all my heart.
I want one as a pet for sure.
I want one. I want them all dead. I would keep one. His name would be Bagingi, and he would shift in ways unknown to me.
Yeah, but we'd love him for it. Sweet Bagingi.
Sweet Bagingi. Bagingi Baganga. That's the full name.
What and the powers and abilities that he has? Forget guns, forget claws. How quaint. The Thyrrus wield confusion as a weapon, more precise than a sniper's bolt. Their technology, if one could call it such, is an extension of their theatrical genius. Holograms, sonic disruption, mood-altering frequencies, and dazzling array of lights that can turn a battlefield into a dreamscape of deception. They unmake cohesion, unravel strategy, and turn allies upon themselves, not with force, but with flair. Their presence in combat is less assault and more showtime. Imagine a platoon haltered by laughter that isn't their own, soldiers frozen in place by illusions of flame and thunder, commanders giving orders that echo back twisted and wrong. They are conductors of cognitive collapse, maestros of mayhem, and the virtuosos of the absurd. To resist them is to not merely fight, it is to anchor your mind to reality, as it is peeled away layer by layer, note by note.
It makes me think of like,
yeah, man, like they're playing this fucking symphony. Wow, they're playing a musical, symphony while they're blasting you with their sound cannons. It's beautiful. It's lovely. You're like almost jamming out to it as it like blasts your best friend into a million bloody bits.
And they use holograms to distract you. They mess with your audio and visuals, in your equipment and probably in your minds too. Like, I don't like to say things are psychic, and that's why they can do certain things. I feel that can be a cop out a lot, but I do feel like there's got to be at least a little bit of psychic energy with these guys mixed with their technology and the rest of their stuff, like their biology.
I feel like they would have like a literal fireworks show that just says "I fucked your mom" and then like underneath it shit lips and rainbow fireworks. Like genuinely, I can't comprehend them not being just the most shit posty of anything.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But just like they're the marine, they're those Marines that curse a bunch. I don't know why I'm thinking of malevolent. The sad ones, or not the sad ones, the angry ones. Rage Marines. No. The fan made. The fan made that just and they
I don't remember. But
I don't know why I don't remember either. But like that's what they remind me of just somebody who had the ability to write. Angry Marines. Thank you, Ursats. Shout out to Ursats. He's got a ferret, not a ferret.
Meerkat.
Meerkat. That the creature. But yeah, no. Like I genuinely, I feel like they just come at you with just utter bullshit. And it just works.
Just so many lights and sounds and distractions, noises, and all of a sudden you're trying to shoot them, but you're accidentally shooting like the platoon next to you.
Yeah.
They just like pop up a big hologram in the sky of like the commissar that you have and respect, like shitting himself. Just like not even anything tactical at some points. Just like genuine fuck yous.
Well,
I always kind of picture them like doing things that aren't necessarily tactical at all. Like what's gonna look cool? What's gonna if we have to charge this trench and we're bound to lose, but it's gonna look fucking cool. Let's do it. Like let's get after that. That's the performance of it.
One of them launches a weird space tentacle dildo at you through like a t-shirt cannon. It doesn't kill you. It's just like what the fuck. I feel like. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I love the idea of them using t-shirt cannons. That's fantastic. T-shirt cannons, confetti.
I don't know. Yeah. Like that's all I can think. Like there's no way they're not just randomly using human bullshit for the exact purpose of confusing the fuck out of you.
I'm imagining them shooting a confetti cannon, but all the pieces of confetti cannon are like monomolecular pieces of like flowy steel and just like shreds you as it floats down.
Yeah, the monofilament that the fucking
monomolecular confetti.
That would be so rad.
What a
shitty way through Space Marine armor. And when you get cut up by it, it somehow like cuts like a penis into your face. Like I feel like
they're launching cocks and cutting penises in the face. What's on your mind there, Bobby Jack? You got cock on the brain?
Launching cock on the mind. Call that the second head. I guess.
Your head.
Digging with my brain and balls. Yep.
So where do these guys come from? Why would they ever want to be like this? Why would they want to be so fabulous? Well, the history to the Thyrrus is but a costume worn briefly, then discarded for a flashier one. They have danced across millennia, flickering in and out of galactic relevance like actors stealing scenes in someone else's tragedy. Records? Incomplete. Intentional. For the Thyrrus do not leave legacies in stone, they leave rumors, ripples, and recollections that contradict themselves with glee. One hears of them in the margins of conquest at the edge of disaster, cloaked in laughter and light. Empires have tried to exterminate them, and yet, curiously, those empires seem to remember the battles differently, if they remember at all. The Thyrrus do not record their own past, they rewrite it nightly in whatever script serves the moment. It is said that they once fooled an entire planetary defense force into surrendering to a parade. Were they always like this? Were they ever anything else? The question presumes a truth that the Thyrrus long ago abandoned or possibly never needed. So again, like another species that just doesn't really have any concrete history, and they use that to their advantage. I love the idea of remembering a battle differently. So you think you wiped them out, you think you kill all of them, but they want you to think that so they can come back later.
Yeah. And a triumphant return. No one's seen it coming. That's the show of it. Yeah.
Exactly. You think of a soap opera when somebody you thought was their dead evil twin comes back to life. It's so dramatic.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no
Alejandro, how are you alive?
There's no way they walk out. You see one of them and you don't immediately hear that Latin guitar when you're watching a soap opera. And you open a door and it's just them, and they do a pose. They no way they don't.
They just.
And all the
what was the word you said? I'll find it. It was a good word. Aldry.
Are you looking for the word that you wrote that I said?
Yeah. I gotta remember what it was. Yeah.
Thank you for the credit of me saying it, by the way. I really appreciate that.
It correctly.
Undulate. That's the word.
Of course I said undulate correctly. I've read that word so many times in my life. I love undulate.
Undulate.
I'm undulating right now thinking about it. It is
especially when with these guys that are very cephalopod, they are going to undulate across the battlefield in the most magnificent way.
I can't tell if they're hard shell or completely gelatinous.
I was just going to tell you to highlight that one, Mark, from Purge. We got Harlequins at home. The Harlequins at home being the Thyrrus. Man, what if the Harlequins got their shtick from these guys?
What if the Thyrrus are Harlequins, but they're Harlequins that went into the fields of excess, and it's just a costume?
That would be amazing.
They
Harlequin too hard.
Yes.
They hardlequined, and now they excess. What? What do you mean? No, that was.
You missed it. Harlequined too hard. Come on, you're better than that one.
They hardlequined. Thank you very much. I don't need words. You know who needs words? Homeworld and galactic geography. Yeah, that's a segue.
That is the segue.
Yes. Yes. If such a concept even applies to beings so glorious and transitionary, the Thyrrus are believed to hail from the swirling mists of a veiled region somewhere near the Democulus Gulf. Though that location may be a metaphor. Though that location may be metaphor, misdirection, or outright mockery. To seek their origin is to walk into a hall of mirrors. The reflection changes with every step. Some say their world sings, others say it weeps. Perhaps it does both. Perhaps it's not a world at all, but a theater built on the corpse of a star. They do not claim territory, they haunt it. Where others raise flags, the Thyrrus raise curtains. They manifest not as invaders, but as phenomena, spreading not through conquest, but through curiosity, through mystery, through the simple question, what are they? And by the time you ask, it is already too late. Their home is not a place, it is where they perform. The galaxy is their stage, and the stars are merely spotlights. Their home is where their hearts are, and their hearts are where you are heart.
Yeah. The hearts are where...
As someone who is a theater kid and has a degree in theater, these guys are just the best. I love them so much.
Yeah.
Well, as if
I love that. They don't raise flags, they raise curtains. They just kind of happen on places, and they kind of make it better or make it more colorful places that they go.
They're
like,
just
yeah,
entertainers, that's all.
happen to places.
Yeah, they like if they read the word phenomena, they'd say do afterwards.
Did that when you read that word, 100%.
Yeah, I was really about to. I had to fight for my life.
So, Mark, are these guys? Are these also from an RPG setting? Do you know, or are they from one of the like a book or something?
That's a great question. I'm not totally sure off the top of my head where these guys are from.
I just remember they're very squid-like.
Yeah.
When you first talked about them.
They're from the Xenology background book, pages 11 to 18.
They've got a full 7 pages on them, everybody. That is how we talk and what we do.
I want to find a copy of that Xenology book because it's come up a few times in the podcast. It would also, I feel like, be a neat book to have. I don't think I don't know if it's canon anymore or not, but because it came up I think the last time I remember seeing it come up was when we were talking about the Kroot reproduction, because that was like the first blurb that was in that book before it was ever anywhere else.
Yeah.
They kind of look butterfly-esque.
I can see that, that too, like with those like psychedelic colors and everything, and like the way it just goes up behind their head, almost like
the captivating.
Like I don't know, it's wooing me with its colors and weird veins and stuff. Yeah. I don't know. Colors, I just can't help myself sometimes. If a woman shows up and she is psychedelically colored, my God.
Oh, I'm in. Don't get me wrong.
That's what you're all about.
Yeah, my type is incomprehensible.
Yeah, nice.
I like my women with I like my odd phenomena. Do.
The culture and beliefs of the Thyrrus. To speak of the Thyrrus culture is to abandon the linear and embrace the operatic. Their entire existence is a performance. Elaborate, shifting, never complete. There is no simple customs, only grand expressions. Emotion is not felt quietly, but broadcast in waves of radiant light and sonic symphony. Truth is irrelevant. Drama is paramount. One does not tell facts among the Thyrrus. One declares them with fanfare and 1,000 trumpets. Their society is layered not in classes or roles, but in acts and scenes. Each individual a star and an audience all at once. What others call deception, the Thyrrus call character development. Religious devotion, perhaps, but not to gods. The Thyrrus seem to venerate the act of expression itself. Communication as a spectacle. Reality as a malleable narrative. Belief in a costume change as a needed... Belief is a costume change... Sorry, one more time, let's try it. Belief is a costume changed as needed for the setting. What they do revere is the power to shape perception. To make another being see what is not... Wow. Okay, one more time. To make another being see not what is, but what might be, or worse, what they fear. Whether this is philosophy, psychological warfare, or academic. To the Thyrrus, identity is not worn, it is performed. And should one fail to applaud, well, that is a grave insult indeed.
I love that it seems like in their culture, whoever can tell the best story is correct. Like that's what their truth is at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's funny. Yeah,
it's like all the cool parts of history. Everybody hates history unless you're talking about something cool that happened, and everybody's like, "Hell yeah! Hell, I love how General Sherman burned down the entire South during the Civil War. That's fucking awesome!" That's just what it feels like.
Yeah. That's fun.
Sorry, America reference. I know all of our British fans won't get that. General Sherman was a really cool guy. He burned down the South from one sea to the other. That shit was badass.
They had it coming.
Yeah, nice cotton plantation, dumbass. Burns it to the ground.
I mean, he's certainly not the first person to do the scorched earth tactics like that. But yes, that was what he was known for.
Yeah, but he had the coolest name when he did it.
There is in fact a march.
What was it?
Sherman. Sherman.
Oh, he didn't have like operations.
Oh no, I didn't mean like the name itself. I meant his name was cool because then they named a really cool tank after him.
They did. Yeah, they did. They have the Sherman tank.
Yeah, and then they made the Sherman crocodile tank, which spewed fire.
Hell yeah,
that shit was badass. Yeah. Oh yeah, flamethrower tanks. Yeah, there's a few countries did flamethrower tanks. America did it the best though.
No, the Thyrrus does it the best, man. Their flames are like rainbow colored. They're shooting like pink flames at you, green flames.
All right, you know what? You're right. They do flames better than we can, but do.
I'm also imagining these guys like it says, if you fail to applaud, that is the gravest insult. Like they could even just come to your world just to do a dance and be chill about it, but you don't clap, and then they just turn these angry eyes on you and just annihilate you.
Yeah,
they do a little. I could imagine them doing a little jig.
Nah, it's always those band kids that turn violent, hey, and snap.
Yeah, they show up to your planet. They do a little jig. You don't clap. The next day they show up with an AR-15.
Fuck.
So the technology that they would annihilate you with, their devices come with a logic that defies the boxy, brutalist expectations of imperial machine think. Thyrrus technology, air quotes, is not forged, it is composed. Their instruments emit light, sound, and disorientation in equal measure. A weapon is not a tool of destruction, but a crescendo. A ship is not a vessel, but a stage. Theirs is an arsenal of atmosphere, of holographic projections so vivid they bleed into reality, of sonic reverberations that rattle thought itself. And always, there are colors, glorious, maddening, ever-changing colors. And how manipulatively delightful it is that even their engineers speak in riddles and flourish. They do not repair things, they reimagine them. Their machinery reflects their minds, nonlinear, baffling, and purposefully obtuse to outsiders. What does this button do? Oh, it releases a hallucinogenic vapor orchestra. That lever, it reconfigures reality into a performance piece about trust. Their technology is not meant to be understood. It is meant to leave you disarmed, distracted, and just the right amount of dazzled before you perish. That is one of the more interesting versions of technology I think we've seen, because we see with the Stryxis, it's all kind of like unknowable flesh shapey shenanigans, but this is almost like, I don't know,
it would be like fighting when you're so high on like mushrooms, acid, like everything. Like you've taken ayahuasca and then you went to a war zone, and that's what every battle with these guys would be. It'd be almost divine. You'd feel like you've like reached some type of grand storyline, and like, whoa, I understand it all now. And it's so colorful.
And then they kill you. And then honestly, there's no way them doing what they do. There's no way they don't make somebody feel like the main character just to kill them instantaneously.
Oh, absolutely. I could 100% see that. Yeah. I wonder if their ships actually, are there pictures of their ships, Mark?
I have not seen them.
I wonder if they actually are built to look like some kind of stage. That would be like, there's this big flat part in the middle that acts as a stage when they descend upon a planet.
They look like that the big amphitheater in Australia, the big famous one with the shape. Yeah. And they fly around in those.
Space, yeah.
That's my new headcanon.
For sure. If it's not written down, we get to make it up.
Yeah, they land the whole thing, but they skid it for 18 miles along the planet.
So what do you guys make of holographic projections so vivid they bleed into reality? Like, do you think they're actually like maybe pulling things out of like some sort of other dimension or warp space, or that they like their holograms are maybe some sort of like hard light projections that actually like can interact with you?
I genuinely think it's just, at this point, they have like, I feel like it's regular holograms, except they are so like you're like, I feel like they release a pheromone that makes you high, and it just makes them real holograms. You imagine the dirt beneath them moving, and then it does. Because, like as said, all of these humans are going to be imagining it. Ergo, then the warp will do the rest of its magic. If you have all of these humans just moving stuff.
I don't know about that far.
I have ideas.
I think it's more of that like hard light type thing where like it's a hologram, but there's something more to it. A little
Menifee, like kind of like Green Lantern, or like you see in like I think in like I think it's like Halo 4. They have like hard light weapons, things like that, or like in going back to Star Trek again. Sort of how the holodecks work, where they turn the energy and light into physical matter.
Yeah. I suppose, yeah.
Could they field these projections, do you think? Like, do you think they, like, project the tank and then suddenly there's a real tank there, just, like, made out of energy?
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I think that would be really, really
sure.
neat.
Like, would that tank be able to actually shoot? Probably not. But could they make, like, a tank there, and if you shoot at that tank, it absorbs bullets and stuff and stops stuff? Yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah, and it like runs people down and squishes them like It's because that's theatrical.
Yeah, exactly.
They just theatrically.
As long as it's fabulous.
I feel like they change people. I don't know. Like, I feel like they get you high.
They get you high, and then they change you into a corpse.
I was living, now I'm dead. Perfect.
Yeah, and
just such a unique way of warfare that they distract you to death. They just your mind and your senses, and
you're just like looking at them, and then you start bleeding from your nose and your ears as it like melts your literal mind receptors, all the colors and
overstimulated.
Yeah.
That would be rad. And onto that, we could talk about their military. Thyrrus war campaign is less invasion and more interstellar pageant. Where others thunder forward with guns and tanks, the Thyrrus descend with a blaze of misdirection, illusion, and choreographed confusion. Battle lines dissolve as soldiers are ambushed by echoes of their own thoughts, or distracted by shimmering phantasmas of allies and enemies alike. The Thyrrus do not attack, they arrive, with sound, with spectacle, with spine-twisting unreality that turns strategies into sandcastles against a crashing tide of absurdity. There are formations, of course, but they march in cadence with unheard symphonies. There are weapons, certainly, but they pulse with light that lull, panic, and unmake. The Thyrrus are not tacticians. They are conductors of chaos. They fight them. To fight them is not simply to lose. It is to lose your footing in truth itself. Their greatest victories come not from the annihilation of the enemy, but from the moment their foes realize they never understood what was happening in the first place. I am once again going to bring him up because they're doing it. They're doing it again. Malal. It's just pure chaos. Now they have nothing. Even if they have their own ideas, it's just for fun.
So is it chaos, though, or is it chaos to us? Because, again, we don't understand it.
I think that my understanding is what the only important understanding.
Of course.
These xenos are just, they're xenos and gross. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they definitely are schizomaxing, and I enjoy that.
Yeah, this is definitely like some... oh my god! Wow, why am I now blinking on? This is like the MK Ultra army for non-American listeners. MK Ultra was like a CIA project to like unlock psychic potential, among other things, like in people in the military. It was
rad. It was super cool. They made a bunch of books about it, and everybody was saying that it was fake and it was real, and everybody, we were all high on LSD, and they fucked with our brains. Like, literally, they and fucked with our brains. It was rad. The shit was badass.
That was a Canadian project. Didn't it start in Canada or something?
No, sir.
It might have involved Canada as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if it started.
Yeah, we kidnapped some of your people, too. Also, the world's largest production of LSD, by the way, just as a quick sidewall, was out of an abandoned missile silo.
Nice.
The whole thing, the like 80%. Now that's why you can't get LSD. Thanks, America.
An LSD missile silo definitely sounds like something that the Thyrrus would use.
Yeah.
Because it does talk about them like using hallucinogens and stuff. So they're like the like militarized street magicians is the thing I was thinking.
Yeah.
We're gonna show you a magic trick and then kill you.
Do we know for a fact that they're xenos, or could they be warp spawn?
I'm pretty sure they're xenos.
Okay.
But yeah.
Who knows?
Well, what's going to happen if you run into them? The Thyrrus are a glittering enigma, and are not easily categorized within the galaxy's brutish diplomatic chart. The Imperium despises them as long as does all things it cannot categorize, burn, or bludgeon into compliance. The Tau, in their naivety, once considered them for the so-called greater good, only to find themselves overwhelmed by the unsolicited operatics and impromptu redecoration of command rooms into performance halls. Even the orcs, bless their simplicity, tend to shoot first rather than try to follow a monologue with 5 acts and 3 holograms. But this is exactly how the Thyrrus prefer it. Let the galaxy underestimate, mislabel, dismiss. They are not diplomats, they are disturbers. They do not build alliances, they entertain. To them, the galaxy is not a series of factions and empires, but an audience in dire need of correction. Those who dare try to ally with the Thyrrus soon find themselves seduced, confused, and rearranged, politically and existentially. And when the curtain falls, only the Thyrrus decide whether it is a tragedy, a comedy, or a massacre. Bum, bum, bum.
Dun, dun, dun.
I feel like a Thyrrus would add that after like every single shot they make, just dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. They look on you and just say the words pause for dramatic effect before they shoot you.
They like they pull out a gun that you think will shoot you and it does like the bang thing. But then the bang shoots out and kills you.
They seem like an early Final Fantasy villain. Like they remind me of like just a wild Final Fantasy villain. Some of them were literally clowns, like the big bad evil guys of some of the Final Fantasy games.
So funny.
So are there any minis of them, Mark? Do you know? I imagine.
No, and the best way to make it is just a pile of green stuff and just start adding your little squiggly tentacles on it, you know.
Yeah. Another creature that uses its warp mental capacities to make us think that they're hot.
Oh, yeah. It seduces us, yeah.
Yeah.
Rules-wise, yeah, you would find them in all scales. Like, you could find... They would make a pretty good tabletop army. Like, you could have different sizes of squids. Like, I'm sure they grow in different sizes. Some could be very big. You could allow for... You know, their vehicles could be all exotic. The one thing that'd be fun, too, is, like, 40K's a tabletop war game, so technically you want to paint your minis. So these guys would be so much fun to paint, man. You're using like UV light paint, like glow in the dark paint, whatever, man. It would be all so cool. Like just slap on different things.
And you wouldn't even have to prime them first because that would be pretty chaotic too.
I recommend always priming. Don't listen to Boba Jack.
No, priming is fake. It's made up by the government.
Yeah, I like this army for sure. I've always liked the Thyrrus. Just they're doing it for the sake of just doing something cool. You know, they really kind of idealize that rule of cool in 40K that we all kind of
and definitely getting back to that like ridiculousness in 40K as well. Like they're just out there having a good time, conquering worlds through drama, like
through flashy lights and fun sounds.
I feel like they would manifest like eclipses for no reason. Like they would just like attach a ship to your moon, pull your moon towards the sun, and go, whoa, dark now, light now.
Definitely like as part of like as like a performance, like they're down there doing, you know, whatever kind of player performance they're going to be doing, and then like at the prescribed time, like the music that they're playing hits a crescendo, and then they drag your moon in line with your sun to create an eclipse.
They drag the moon towards you and crush your planet with it.
All right, so
that would be super cool. Sorry.
They're very interesting. Let's move on to the Umbra. The Umbra are enigmatic entities born from the blackest voids between stars, creatures whose very existence is steeped in malice and shadow. They move through the galaxy as sinister whispers of darkness, anathema to the light and all that dares to bear it. Cloaked in an aura of dread, their presence heralds despair and annihilation. For the Umbra are not mere beings, they are living nightmares, embodiments of shadow and death. Their inscrutable motives remain hidden beneath veils of darkness, but their purpose is clear: to extinguish, consume, and corrupt the luminescence of life wherever it dares to shine. Wandering the void like spectral predators, the Umbra weave through the fabric of reality with terrifying subtlety. They are neither holy spirit nor flesh, existing in a twilight realm that defies mortal comprehension. To encounter an Umbra is to face the impossible, beings of shifting darkness that seep into the minds of the living, twisting perceptions and crushing hope. Their malevolence permeates all they touch, and their arrival marks the beginning of ruin. These creatures do not seek conquest or dominion in the traditional sense. Instead, they hunger for the obliteration of light and the subjugation of existence itself to eternal night. So these guys sound like they've got a little bit more straightforward motives than we've seen before, but definitely those like mysterious origins and like histories.
Yeah. Yeah, and like it's odd. Like even though we know kind of their motivations a little bit, what they get up to, like this is so alien. It's a glowing orb. Well, it's a dark orb. It's not glowing. Like an orb of energy is so just like, okay, how do we relate to this fucking thing now? Well, we don't have to worry about 40k. We can try to kill it.
Yeah, exactly. If any of you've ever played like Metro, the weird like orbs that fly through the stations and stuff, like I feel like I feel like that's what they look like. Just something like that. But on that note of appearance, and also their biology, the Umbra's form is an ever-shifting nightmare of black smoke, a grotesque silhouette that defies the laws of biology and physics. Their bodies are flickering between corporeal and intangible states, as if woven from the fabric of darkness itself. Eyes of burning void pierce through the gloom, glowing with a cold, unnatural light that betrays no emotion but pure, remorseless hunger. Their shapes twist and writhe in impossible angles and manifestation of alien geometry that distorts and disorientates and terrifies all who gaze upon them. They are not simply creatures, but a living abyss, an anti-life force that feeds on despair and fear. Unlike any known organism, the Umbra lack traditional biological systems. Their form is sustained by shadowy energy, a corruption of the very essence of reality. They are immune to conventional weaponry, dissolving into smoke and darkness before attacks can touch them. Their bodies pulse with malevolent power, allowing them to reshape their forms into tendrils, claws, or creeping fog. This alien biology confounds all attempts at scientific understanding, making them a terrifying anomaly in the cosmos, a riddle wrapped in darkness, hostile to light and life alike.
You can't touch them, but they can touch you.
And they touch our no-no squares.
They do sometimes.
Yeah.
Any darkness they are happy to touch there.
Yeah. Which
the only defense against them is grabbing like a ceiling fan and just trying to fucking blow them away. Really.
Oh, they're mist. I thought they were like just balls of energy. Like you could throw a flashlight across the room and they'd go.
They're more like the energy ball for sure, but
they can turn. They can turn mist-like. So yeah, they're probably like maybe their normal form is like a more condensed ball of energy, but they can disperse themselves out.
That's awful.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I tend to not like beings that expand.
These are definitely the very like Lovecraftian horror vibes of like unknowable shapes and unknowable biology.
Yeah. Powers and ability. The Umbra wield the darkness itself as a weapon. bending shadow and void to their will in ways that defy mortal logic. They can cloak entire regions in an unnatural gloom, extinguishing light sources and plunging their surroundings into palpable fear and despair. Their presence corrupts technology and life forms alike, spreading a blight of shadow that slaps vitality and twists minds. They are masters of stealth and subterfuge, slipping through cracks between dimensions and appearing without warning, striking terror into the hearts of the entire star systems before vanishing like smoke. Beyond mere invisibility, the Umbra manipulate the very fabric of reality, warping shadows to confuse, isolate, and prey upon the victims. They feed on the psychic energies of fear and hopelessness, growing stronger with every soul crushed beneath their oppressive gloom. Their attacks are often indirect, whispers that drive minds mad, shadows that swallow light and hope, and sudden eruptions of darkness that erase entire starships without a trace. To confront the Umbra is to face Oblivion incarnate, an enemy whose power lies not in brute force, but in the creeping certainty of despair and distinction. Yeah, another type of vampire creature that's draining your life force. But these guys do it in a cool way. Like if you come under their shadow, like if you come under their kind of presence, then yeah, you start feeling sad and lethargic a little bit, and they slowly start feeding on you.
Do you think they'd make stories of these guys just like sitting on a ship and then oozing smoke into the vents and like just subtly like seeping an entire ship from like the middle of it?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Like they
Like
extinguish, consume like any lights in this ship while they're doing it too. So just everything is cloaked in darkness. And I imagine even like if you saw the ship from the outside, it just becomes this black shape of a ship in the already blackness of space.
Yeah, just the silhouette.
Yeah. Or like just even the slow like shut off of lights as it moves through would be really cool.
Ooh,
this is a really good. I feel like this would be really cool to see in like a 40K animation or something.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is the Astartes creature, but maybe I'm not right about that.
I remember the Astartes creature being more of a like the big orb was more of just its own thing. I thought.
Yeah,
that's what I always
think it
thought
is its
too,
own thing because it also has like the weird teleportation powers and stuff. It doesn't necessarily seep out. These guys also are from xenology too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, maybe he took some inspiration from it. Like just to me, these guys teleport too. They do all the same things. They look the same. Even they read minds. They can kind of do all that stuff. But
I mean, obviously, we'll yeah. I mean,
we'll get.
Yeah, you know, life is a question. So is 40K, and maybe we should question their history.
So the history of the Umbra is a dark enigma, hidden in the forgotten crevices of galactic lore and whispered only in dread. They seem to predate even the oldest civilizations, emerging from the depths of the cosmos like a curse bound to shadow itself. Throughout millennia, they have haunted the edges of the Imperium and Xenos realms alike, their appearances marking cataclysm and ruin. Wherever the Umbra strike, civilizations crumble under waves of despair, their history rewritten in shadow and ash. They are not conquerors or colonizers, but harbingers of oblivion, their history a cycle of annihilation and silent withdrawal into darkness. Legends tell of entire star systems swallowed into their shadow, lost to time and memory as if erased by a void that cannot be charted or mapped. Attempts to study or engage the Umbra have ended in madness or disappearance, leaving only fragmented records of their malevolent interference. Their history is one of silence and terror, a cosmic shadow that moves unseen yet leaves devastation in its wake. The Umbra exist as an eternal threat, a reminder that some darkness is beyond light's reach, and that some shadows are born not of absence, but of malicious will. I imagine like the like crushing civilizations under like waves of despair is just like the most fucking emo way to go as a civilization in 40K. Just like everyone has like hair covering one eye and is listening to My Chemical Romance or something. Yeah, the Night Lords wish they could.
How do you say? Yeah, the Night Lord's on crack for sure.
I think we just need to go back to the minor Xenos where we just say the Imperium killed them all and call it a day.
Oh yeah, those are the good ones. Those
Yeah, I love those. Those ones make me happy.
Imagine the Umbra coming up against the Thyrrus, and it's literally a light and shadow war against each other.
Oh, yeah, that'd be wild.
I mean, they are like completely two polar opposites.
Yeah, the Thyrrus are just shooting their rainbow guns into the black void that's just like devouring it. Like, that's such a cool image. Where would they have such a battle? Perhaps on
homeworld and galactic geography.
Yeah,
perhaps
maybe
the Umbra have no known homeworld, for they are creatures of the void itself, drifting in the endless black between stars where no light penetrates. They haunt the darkest regions of space, ghostly corridors between nebula, cold voids beyond the reach of stellar fires, areas that humanity and other races avoid out of instinctive dread. These realms of shadow serve as both refuge and hunting grounds, where the Umbra can regenerate and gather strength, enveloped by the cosmic gloom that sustains their alien forms. They are the embodiment of the dark spaces between the stars, a living void of shadow cast across the galactic map. Their influence warps the very fabric of space in these blackened regions, twisting stellar phenomena into nightmarish distortions that unsettle navigation and communication. Where the Umbra linger, gravitational anomalies and psychic disturbances abound, rendering star charts useless and stranding explorers in eternal darkness. To venture near their domain is to step into a shadow realm beyond comprehension, a place where reality thins and the Umbra reign supreme. Their galactic geography is a map of fear, a silent testament to the cold malevolence lurking between the stars. Oh, okay. So they're just they're living black holes. That's all they are.
Kind of sounds like it, eh?
Yeah,
It sounds like they live in space. They wouldn't really live on a planet. They just are creatures of the void.
Yeah. Like they have no need for homes or even for technology, you know. They don't need to make Abram tanks.
Yeah, it seems like they just exist to try to plunge the galaxy into darkness.
You just targeted me there, and I'm very offended about it. You said that and stared right at me. I felt it.
Yeah, I did. I'm like, say something about these tanks, but don't.
Because culture and belief. They're not your tanks. You have stupid Leopard 2A7s that don't do anything. Stupid and dumb and cringe, and they have angles. Ugh. Sorry. Anyways,
Oh man. The cultures and beliefs of the Umbra. They exist as a species utterly divorced from mortal concepts of culture or belief, embodying a chilling alienness that defies comprehension. They are not bound by ideology or ritual, but driven by inscrutable will that manifests as pure malice and shadow. Any semblance of culture that they might possess is woven from the darkness itself, a realm where light is anathema, and existence is reduced to the endless consumption and obliteration of life and hope. Their actions speak of a primal creed to unmake all light and scatter it into oblivion, erasing the traces of warmth or life with silent, inexorable darkness. Inexorable. How do you say that word?
Inexorable.
I don't know. Yeah, you wrote a few words that I don't know either, so it's okay.
Yeah, I know how to
skip one.
Read them in my head. And I know what they mean.
I don't know how to read them in my head. I don't know what they mean either. Words are hard, man. They're big. If they have more than 2 syllables, we're cooked.
Listen, they're big, beautiful words. Just go with it.
Big, beautiful.
Within their alien psyche, the Umbra may be perceived as living extensions of the void, existing in a state of perpetual hunger and shadowed purpose. They exhibit no empathy, no mercy, only an innate desire to spread their corruptive darkness and extinguish the brightness of the cosmos. Their beliefs is that they can be called that, are woven from an instinctual drive to dominate through fear and despair, embracing the void both as a weapon and a substance. This makes them impossible to reason with or understand. True shadows of the galaxy, lurking beyond the pale of sentient comprehension.
So are they like the Tyranid that they only want to like devour and destroy? Like they're not like the Necron where they want to conquer, but they're just out for annihilation.
Yeah. They seem like literally entropy manifest. Like a black hole that just goes around and destroys and not building anything at all, just putting things into darkness, bringing things to their final stage.
Yeah, it's like blocking suns and erasing light and hope from the galaxy.
Yeah.
Right. To erase this light, hope they have their own technology. The technology of the Umbra is as enigmatic and alien as their form, a blasphemous fusion of shadow energy and the possible machinery that defies the laws of physics. They wield devices and constructs seemingly forged from darkness itself, crafted from energies that consume light and warp reality. Their technology is not mechanical in any conventional sense, but appears as living shadows, shimmering voids that twist and shift, capable of corrupting and dismantling even the most advanced Imperial or Xenos systems. Any encounter with Umbra technology is marked by eerie silence and a creeping sense of dread, as if the darkness itself conspires to unmake the world. These dark artifacts emit no signals, give no clear readings, and resist all attempts at study or replication, rendering them profound mysteries even to the Adeptus Mechanicus. Their machines blur the line between technology and sorcery, bending shadows to devastating effect, whether to cloak entire starships, disable electronic systems, or drain energy from their foes. The Umbra's tools are extensions of their malevolent will, instruments of annihilation that spread shadow plague and corruption across the battlefield, ensuring their victims' light is snuffed out with chilling finality. So it almost sounds like they can just coalesce their darkness into their own technology. Like they just form shadows into weapons, which is awesome.
What point do they even have for weapons other than to make themselves more comprehensible to us, though? That's my thing.
Yeah, that is a fair question, because I'd imagine them not really even having technology or weapons and just being this like wave of darkness that literally just consumes your space.
Yeah, like I genuinely just thought they were orbs that oozed darkness and consumed us. I was shocked when they had weapons. That's upsetting.
Yeah. The orb's definitely better. It's kind of cool. It kind of is like, okay, so you can condense yourself into other little things, but yeah, like what are these technologies that they really need? They're not making air conditioning, like, okay, so you make one technology of a gun that can shoot a shadow, and then what else beyond
I
that?
guess it's also like, what's the scale of an Umbra? Like, how big is there an upper limit to how much they can expand themselves? Like, so maybe
how Umbra?
Yeah, like, so maybe an Umbra can, maybe take up at most the space of, say, like a 10 by 10 room. When it's like fully in mist form, so it can envelop several people in that. But maybe it needs to, like shoot an energy sucking ray out to, do something else. I don't know.
I'm thinking maybe they could have been some sort of science project from another race that race comprehends weaponry, so they decide that they're going to do weaponry, like some sort of artificial intelligence almost, where they make like living black holes that understand and comprehend and strategize, and then killed all of them, and then now they're just doing shit.
Yeah. I like that.
That would explain weapons for me. And also their military. Oh, that was actually a good one.
Yeah, fuck it up now. Fuck it up. Mess up.
I'm already messing it up by talking about how good that segue was. The Umbra wage war not with the conventional forces, but rather insidious assaults of darkness and fear. Their military might, a terrifying extension of their shadowy nature. Their soldiers, heavy quotations, are nightmarish manifestations of living shadow. Wrath-like entities that dissolve into smoke and mist to avoid harm, striking with ruthless precision and vanishing before retaliation. These spectral warriors do not fight for conquest or territory, but to extinguish and consume, unraveling the morale and sanity of any who stand against them. Their tactics revolve around psychological terror as much as physical destruction, eroding hope long before their claws or shadow blades touch flesh. Umbra forces rarely engage in large-scale battles. Instead, they manifest as creeping plague of darkness, infiltrating enemy lines with whispering shadows that corrupt and unravel from within. Their assaults are swift, brutal, and infernal. This is the word I couldn't read, Mark. What word is that?
Let's find it here.
Ephemeral.
Oh, ephemeral. Ephemeral.
Ephemeral.
Yeah, like almost like ethereal, but
okay, but evil. Okay, all right. Leaving only silence, broken systems, and shattered minds in their wake. To face the Umbra is to confront an enemy that never truly dies, that returns from the shadows again and again, spreading despair as surely as fire spreads flame. Their military presence is a spectral nightmare, a war fought in the black space between stars where no light dares linger. They're just spoopy.
They are spoopy boopy.
Yeah, they are.
Oh wait, they seem kind of fleshy. They seem fleshy in that picture.
They do seem very fleshy in that picture. I'll show you some other pictures of them to show some other variations of them.
Okay.
Like this one, yeah, it definitely looks like there's creatures, there's mouths, there's teeth, and
weird, like bulbous pus balls that arrange things that don't look like an asshole.
Yep. Yeah. Lupercal says, kind of seem like they're accidentally created in some sort of anti-matter project that gains sentience. Yeah, fucking cool.
Yeah, like almost like that's kind of what I was saying too. It's like that's in my opinion why they would make weapons, because of things that they ate, and then suddenly understanding that those things that they ate saw weapons as these. So now they're like, okay, we can do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they also almost looked like they had a sort of like energy core that then the shadow was coming out of and manifesting in like the different like claws and mouths.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a kind of like, I was talking about hard light with the Thyrrus. Maybe it is like hard shadow in a way with the Umbra.
Sure.
Like it's so condensed that it has a physicality to it.
Yeah, we don't have too many pictures of them by the looks of it, but we definitely have these ones are good, like the balls, and then they definitely add that shadow.
I do love seeing the balls.
Yeah, we love the balls.
We love the balls, big balls, juicy,
beautiful, black,
perfect vein running through, so suckable.
Fuck. Galactic relations. The Umbra have no alliances, no treaties, and no place in the political machinations of the galaxy. They are the entities of pure antagonism, fear, and shunned by all who know them. Every known faction, Imperium, Xenos, or Heretic, regard the Umbra as a malignant blight, a cosmic pestilence that defies diplomacy and negotiation. Encounters with them are met with desperate, often suicidal resistance. For the Umbra bring not conquest, but oblivion. Their very presence fractures uneasy truces and ignites fresh conflicts as their malevolent aura corrupts and unsettles any who draw near. Their reputation as incorporeal predators of darkness means they inspire stories of dread and warning, whispers among starfarers and explorers. No empire claimed the Umbra as kin or ally. They exist as a shadowy threat lurking beyond the mapped edges of space, a cosmic horror that transcends politics and ideology. To the Umbra, the galaxy is nothing but a hunting ground, a sea of light to be swallowed by their eternal shadow. In every corner of the galaxy, their name is a curse whispered in fear, an ominous reminder that some darkness cannot be bargained with, only resisted until the bitter end. Yeah, okay, so you're fighting a black hole. You look across the battlefield and you find yourself fighting a black hole. What do?
I throw rocks at it.
They're not quite black holes because they don't it didn't sound to me like they sucked in with that kind of gravity well that a black hole would have, but like that enveloping shadow that just drains you of all life force, like that vampiric aspect you're talking about.
Yeah.
And
like I imagine like you don't feel that gravity pulling you into them, but you do feel heavy with the weight of the shadow and like
or just the weight of energy too. Like they're just energy beings.
The weight of your air.
So even though like when you're trying to escape, like it would be tough and like you're still trying to fight this like energy beast, like fun.
I genuinely like. My favorite thing about all three of these guys that we've talked about so far is just the fact that they're all completely incomprehensible, by the way. But like, these guys specifically, literally they're just marbles that roll around and ooze darkness and make you sad and die. Like it's just so cool.
It is. These are like, great antagonists for something. Like they're wonderful.
Yeah, like
I'm doing some little searches, and I'm pretty sure these guys are in the Astartes.
That would be great.
I wonder. Yeah. Maybe you could.
There's one other picture.
Maybe they could die to EMP grenades, or maybe they would consume EMP grenades. I don't know, but I want to think of how they could die, like how you could kill it.
Like if you threw one into like a sun. Maybe I don't know. There's so much. And heat.
Yeah,
but wouldn't they eat the sun? Like realistically, the sun is just a big ball of light and energy.
I don't think they're big enough because it's hard to
like the sun is huge. Like you would have to be such a big.
Liberal media wants you to think the sun is huge, but the sun is pretty small. Look how far away. Look, I mean, I look up in the sky; it's pretty small.
Listen, I might as well pop it in my mouth like a Skittle.
I could plug it right out and eat it.
The sun is a small flat circle, as we all know.
Yes,
but seriously, like the pictures make them look like they do have like an upper size limit. They're not like infinitely big. I don't know, like, but it does seem kind of contradictory in that they have like a physical form. They do have these like weapons and claws and mouths, but then it also says that they're like ephemeral and like insubstantial. So.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I genuinely, I think they could be whatever they want to be at this point. Like I mean,
you can too, kids.
Yeah. But like even that one picture we saw where it's just a big thing of blackness, and just some space marines shooting at it. Like maybe that's just the smoke. Like the smoke just goes, but like if you break off a connection of that smoke, like this one kind of has like a snake head at the top. If you shot below the neck of it, it would dissipate.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what I think.
Like there's no creature to it.
Yeah, but like the core itself is just the same size everywhere, but the smoke can go. Maybe not a whole planet, but like it could ooze enough to fill a starship, and it just takes time. And if there's no energy on that starship, then it just starves and dies. But as long as there's something to harvest, something to jump between, then I feel like realistically, maybe they can go on indefinitely, like a lobster.
Yeah. Lobsters or jellyfish, they are functionally immortal as long as they can keep going.
Lobsters, jellyfish, solidified shadow balls, they're all essentially the same thing.
Yeah. Did you know they wanted to put a lobster into space and like consistently like remove its shell and help it survive to see how big it could get?
Crazy.
Oh yeah, I wish I was lying about that. My tax dollars went to that.
That's dumb that you pay taxes, but okay.
I don't. Well, I do for legal reasons. But yeah,
Taxman don't mess around. All right, well, that's the Xenos we have. We got some call-ins here. We got Hottie first here. Give me a little nod if you're ready.
Hottie?
All right.
Yo, look at that Hottie.
Hey.
He's hot, so sexy.
Right? I know, right?
How's it going? Cutie right there.
You're the only people that think I'm sexy, like.
Oh, come on. The Umbra probably do too.
Yeah, they touch you good.
Yeah, only so that they can consume me.
Hey, it's good to be wanted by somebody, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I suppose. Like, you know, it's like it's like Dark Eldar. They give me the vibe that it's probably better to kill yourself rather than be captured by them. Like,
yeah. If you value your nipples, you don't want to be captured by a dark elder.
So,
like,
which was your favorite of the xenos that we talked about tonight?
I mean, you say favorite; they're all pretty gross.
That's what xenos tend to be.
Yeah, I have to say, from like, so if you were looking at it from, say, what I'd like to see on the screen kind of thing,
Sure.
I think definitely the Umbra. I think you could do a lot with them. You could do them like, you could do a horror story sort of vibe. You could do you could do like quite a visually astounding sort of maybe las guns, because obviously they're just laser bolts. So you know how like that scene where Darth Vader appears like at the end of Rogue One, and the red light comes, and then they just shoot at him. I can just see like a scene like that with the Umbra, where it just sort of coalesces, and the las guns start going off. I think even an Astartes would struggle with them, so I think it'd kind of like be quite good to see an Astartes humbled. Like, obviously, yeah, they're superhumans, but you've got to have occasionally a bit of the Worf effect. You've got to occasionally knock them down a peg to sort of show that they aren't infallible. And I think you could do a lot with them. I think they're really good. Like, they're a good rich story. I think the Strix are a bit gross, to be honest. Like properly, they honestly just remind me of the collectors, and the collectors so much from Mass Effect 2. They're a great villain, but they're overpowered, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if they go up against a proper enemy, they're fine. But like, can you imagine you're on some little outpost, and then the farmer, and they turn up. What can you do? You can't do anything. You need like
you gotta let them fuck your wife.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like
yeah.
Worst trade deal ever.
But it's been a pretty good episode. Like, I love learning about the minor xenos, because it just reminds you that the galaxy is still a big place.
Yeah,
and the Great Crusade didn't wipe them all out.
I do think they're a great extra little bit of setting for 40K. Like, you've got your major factions and everything, but you have all these like little pockets of other aliens around. Are, I think, excellent additions to the setting.
It's just so annoying they don't do anything with it from a tabletop point of view. Like, I know it'd be hard, but I feel like minor xenos, you could maybe even rotate like a unit or something. Like, you could create like a core xenos army, and then each sort of edition you can rotate in like another minor. So maybe form a coalition of all these random minor xenos, to fight the Imperiums, that are just trying to survive against all the big threats. And then you just add in like mercenaries each edition. So these would be good at mercenaries or something like that. Like, that'd be quite good.
That'd be like Mark was saying earlier, like a lot of these would be good for like kill team size armies. You'll only need to design and produce 10 models or whatever. Maybe a lot more feasible.
Yeah,
and so feasible to do that. Like, especially since like we already have lore for them, we already have concept artwork for a lot of them. To make a mini, that's not too much.
Well, looking at the ships were pretty cool, and it really annoys me that Battlefleet Gothic hasn't come back, because like, who doesn't want like a phalanx like that big, or maybe even like that sort of big? Like, you could do it on a full size 40K table, and it'd be pretty good. Like, I feel like with 3D printing, you could make some pretty good models, but the problem is the rules are so outdated that it just wouldn't do them justice.
Yeah.
But some of the alien things would be quite good for Battlefleet Gothic, because all you have to do is like make a couple of ships and then boom.
I'm imagining an Umbra ship for Battlefleet Gothic is just any other ship in Battlefleet Gothic, just spray painted black, just matte.
Exactly.
Or just like a black bouncy ball that you paint black, or like just a weird energy glow.
But it's like that. Is it Vanta Black or something? The darkest black. It's just like where the camera can't even pick it up.
That would be bad. I feel like it'd be cool if they had something like inside of a spaceship, where you just like have to like you have your own even especially since they're so overpowered. Like, one Umbra could be 500 points, whereas you could have like a 500 point or even 1,000 points, and then you have 1,000 point like little army of guardsmen hunting down one Umbra.
So like bordered actions. Is that
Yeah.
that'd be pretty good. Like I've just joined a boarded actions campaign at my local store, and I bought some
Cool.
orcs, and I was like, I'm only buying orcs for the boarded actions, and I've ended up collecting another army. Yeah,
Damn you, GW, got him again.
yeah, I
Jeez.
know. But like, I love that they have their own sort of void rules. Like that's pretty good. So you could create like specific rules, like the void war. I get to war twice. That's great. So you could, with the Umbra, you could like have them as a sort of like if you have a 3-man game, you could have 2 people going against each other, and then an Umbra sort of like hunting. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just like
like the Umbra almost makes a good that NPC where you can't really kill it. Almost, you just gotta avoid it. And like maybe you could try to kill it, but you gotta be so lucky, or
you gotta
have it
airlock
just
it.
right. You gotta interlock it, I
Something
guess.
like that.
Do you guys play board games? Have you ever played Subterra? So
Is that the one where you have like a ship and you like it's like a card game?
No, it's where you're in a series of caves, and so you use a black light to see the routes. So you have to turn like all your lights off and stuff, and use a black light to find the routes. And you've basically got to roll dice and stuff to escape. And if you have something like 5 turns, and if you don't reach an escape point, like you get things collapsing. Some people have ropes, some people have torches, that sort of thing. And if you don't escape, like the monsters get you, because the monsters just keep randomly spawning, and you don't know where they are. And if you haven't escaped by turn 5, it's assumed you've just been consumed by the darkness. You could do a board game like that, but with the Umbra. So like, if you don't get out of the ship by like, so you could be like a boarding party, you get on, and you're like, what killed these guys? And then as you're doing your investigation, if you don't get out in time, the Umbra just takes you out.
Yeah,
that'd
be a fun running gun battle of like, trying to fight orcs when you're getting out, trying to get past them.
Yeah,
get away from the Umbra.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It'd be a good escape game.
Just some sort of tabletop RPG where you're like looking around, roll for perception, a dust or a cloud of smoke starts filling the room.
Just one, just you roll a 1 and your character just whoop.
There's a lot of like board game, card game things that'd be really cool for this. Like, there's one I've played called Sentinels of the Multiverse, where like you have a deck that's has a deck that's your hero. And then there's like a villain deck, and you could do that'd be something like that would be cool with 40K. You have like the Umbra or like the Necron or whatever, and then you have like your hero decks that could be either like a faction or different like chapters or something, or even the like dungeon builder games like the D&D games where you're building the dungeon, but it's a ship, and it's like kind of like with Subterra where it spawns monsters, and you've got your heroes with your abilities that you have to fight your way through it.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Any of you played Blackstone Fortress before?
No.
Somebody tried to introduce it to me, but I have ADHD, so I can't focus on more than one like game system at a time. So at the moment, I'm focusing on 40K because I'm entering a load of competitions. Like I'm entering a triple in August, a double in September, and a single in November. So like I've got AOS stuff, and I've got Star Wars Legion, but they've just sort of taken the back seat because I just cannot, like, my brain can't focus with the rules. And somebody tried introducing me to it, and I was just like, you know what, this isn't working.
Too much rule.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Well, any other closing thoughts or any other thoughts about these Xenos from anybody?
Filthy.
Yeah, filthy.
Filthy.
Backwards savages.
The only other closing thought I have is like the join the Patreon. You know, as always, shout out to you guys. Like, it's amazing what you guys do. Like, I work from home a lot, and I'm sometimes, you know, you just want some. You don't want music. You want like to hear a person. And listening to you guys, it feels like I'm in the room with you guys. And so like, honestly, it's been great finding the community and finding something that I can listen to like actively and learn about one of my favorite things without having to do anything. And all I do is like chuck you like what, $5 a month, and I get to join in occasionally. So
yeah.
Man, I love it. Even if I wasn't getting that $5, I would still be talking to you boys about 40K. It's so cool that we can all just hang out and chat. So.
Fiverr helps.
If I ever help.
Yeah, no, funny. Like I'm looking at the screen right now, and it's just 4 people I've never met in person. I've only even met a couple of you for a couple months, even. You know, it's just kind of whatever. It's fun. It's nice.
I mean, he's seen my feet. I've seen.
First thing I've seen.
Yeah, I've seen his feet. He's seen my feet. We, there's a love there.
There's love.
Is that what funded Panama? Feet pics.
Yes. Our feet.
No, being a fucking electrician funded Panama, unfortunately.
Yeah,
you got to break your back. Podcasting, you get the ladies, but you don't get the paycheck. That's been my experience, anyways.
Let's be honest. You get the men.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I tried.
I don't know what it's like in Canada, but over here, like, there's a couple of UK tradie pages, and they'll do like how different people roll up to the site, and then you've got like the labourer rolls up on like in a clapped out car. Then you got like the site manager comes up in a Rolls Royce, but then the Sparky comes up in a Bentley, and he's like sneezing and wiping his nose with like a wad of money, and then he just gets a hammer, puts a hole in the wall like really badly, runs a couple of wires, and then just goes.
Job's done. That's so funny. No regard. Yeah. Being a Sparky can be fun that way for sure.
Just the most hated on site.
Yeah. Well, been fun, everyone. Been a great episode. I think we got 2 more minor Xenos coming up. The next one is a bunch of Tau, so gonna be fun. Gonna dip into that kind of ally of aliens there. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
Subhuman episode, I guess, or subspecies episode.
It'll be sub
inferior.
Yeah.
Cringe.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys all on the next episode of Lorehammer.
Don't support space communism.